Hey everyone, welcome to a very special Dissecting Dexter. As always, I am Gareth, your host, coming to you from the heart of Yorkshire, England, where it is hot. We are in a heat wave, another one. I'm not a big fan of really hot weather. I'm not. You know when you just can't get comfortable anywhere except inside the fridge? But I'm here for what is a very, very exciting time for Dexter fans. Dexter Resurrection is here. As I record, it's the 10th of July 2025. Last night in New York, they had the star-studded premiere at the Lincoln Center. Cast and crew were there. Our good buddy Nick Henderson was there too, representing the Dexter Daily website, still living his best life. Bless him, rubbing shoulders with the great and the good from this TV show that we all love. Meanwhile, I was able to make my own connection to the celebrations via the power of online conferencing. I met up with actor Ntare Guma Mbaho Mwine, who plays a new character in Dexter Resurrection, Blessing Kamara. Ntare was a gentleman and a delight to talk to, and my enormous thanks go to Jamie and her team for setting it up. Ntare is a very, very busy guy at the moment, and showing up on our TV screens in two shows, not just Resurrection, but also in Smoke on Apple TV. In our conversation, we touch on Smoke, but definitely check it out. It's a good show. Also starring Taron Egerton as a fire investigator looking into two serial arsonists. Ntare stars as a very different character to the one we'll see in Resurrection. For Blessing Kamara, I really like him. He has a warmth that draws you in right away, and Ntare has such a nice, natural charm, you can't help but like him. Okay, I've been naughty. Full disclosure, I have now seen the first 4 episodes of Resurrection. I was very fortunate to receive screeners ahead of the interview, and how could I not, right? I did toy with the idea of only watching the first 2 and staying completely authentic for the podcast, but the fanboy in me, it just wouldn't let me, and I cracked. I know, I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm a Dexter fan, full stop. However, rest assured, I will not be spoiling anything on the podcast, and I certainly don't know anything beyond episode 4. What I can do at this point is give you my early impressions of the 2-episode premiere, which everyone gets to see this week. I'll keep them brief because I'll be doing a full review, as normal, in a few days, and of course I'll be very happy to hear what you guys think too. So send in any thoughts, please, to dissectingdexter@gmail.com. Thank you to listeners Andrea and Tyden, who both emailed recently with theories about Resurrection. I was glad to hear from you both. Thank you. Anyone listening who is new to the podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for checking us out. I hope you like what you hear. And if you do, please consider leaving a nice review or 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. And if you really like what you hear, and I hope you do really like what you hear, maybe have a look at subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/dissectingdexter. I've recently rejigged the reward tiers and introduced a new one with an extra reward of a personal video message if you want to see my beaming mug grinning at you from your screen, wishing you well. But head over there if you want to support the podcast financially. I always say this, but it really genuinely helps keep the lights on here and cover the costs of running and hosting the podcast. My thanks go out, as always, to everyone who supports me there, and special thanks to my new Bonesaw level supporters, Nick and Phil, and also to my cleavers, Hamie, Jennifer, Kelly and Ryan. Ryan was in my neck of the woods recently, here in the UK. All right, so my thoughts on the premiere, in a nutshell. It's great, and I mean really great, to be back in Dexter's world, and as much as I enjoyed Patrick Gibson playing younger Dexter in Original Sin, I think we all did, it is extra special seeing Michael again. Like putting on your favourite jumper on a cold winter's day, Michael is Dexter. and he just slots right back into the role like he's never been away. We knew from the trailer to expect Batista back, and David Zayas also puts his Batista skin back on effortlessly. Their reunion was teased in the trailer, but we see it in the premiere, and it's a great scene, but one laced with tension for both men. Dexter is not off the hook, and I'm not going to get into specifics here. I'll leave it for the full review, but I have a niggle from this scene that we'll have to talk about. But they have some very fertile ground to explore. I think it was maybe David Zayas who put it like that in the publicity this week. And they do. Very fertile ground. There's so much scope for where they could go from here. Where we're at the beginning here, it's a completely new dynamic for the characters of Dexter and Batista and their relationship, and I'm here for it. It's a new direction. Bring it on. We've got Harrison in New York. I know some weren't keen on him in New Blood, but I liked him overall, and I like him here. I soon got an answer to one of my theories, but again, no spoilers here. I won't say what the theory was, but it was interesting to see what he's up to there and how the events of New Blood are still affecting him. I mean, how could they not? It's only been 10 weeks. Oh yeah, they confirmed Dexter was in a coma for 10 weeks, so the show starts in March. Harry is also back. Again, we saw him in a trailer, so that's not a spoiler. I loved having Jennifer Carpenter in New Blood, and I'm going to miss her here. But having those moments of internal debate between Dexter and Harry is something so familiar from the original show. I've got a real feeling of nostalgia for their interactions, and having them back here, it's just wonderful. James Remar looks great, and they have some really good dialogue. We've got some new characters too. I'll dig into those in the full review, as I can't provide too much detail without risking potentially spoiling the events of the premiere, and I don't want to do that before you've seen it. But the setting, it's no secret that we soon find ourselves in downtown New York, and they have shot it beautifully. The cinematography in New Blood was fantastic in that snowy, rural environment, but here in the heart of the city, again, they find a way to make it look spectacular. They make a lot of use of overhead shots. Indeed, the camera work is very dynamic, and there's some snappy editing. It gives the show a very... how can I put it? A very funky, modern kind of vibe, and very cinematic. The colours are vivid and pop off the screen. The production design, the lighting, it's all really good. There isn't much in the way of OG Dexter music, but there is some new original score from Pat Irwin and lots of very modern music drops. And one not so modern music drop that we hear now and again, but made me smile whenever it happened. Plot-wise, things move along at a quick pace. It's all killer and no filler so far, and I can't see that changing. Overall, there's plenty new, but enough of the familiar so that this feels kind of like a new show with familiar faces. My one gripe is still nagging at me from episode 1, and we'll be getting into that, although I find my own little personal Harry sitting on my shoulder, reminding me of the old mantra, trust the show. Let everything play out before giving a final verdict. But, hey, we talk about this week by week, don't we? So we have to discuss things as they come up. Anyway, I'll leave that there for now.
You know, after Miami, I could never get used to this damn cold. I thought you didn't know me. You were right.
You're listening to Dissecting Dexter.
I'm Dexter Morgan. Your father.
Right, let's get back to Ntare. He was at the premiere in New York and had a busy day of press beforehand, and I was very happy to be a part of that press day for him. We chatted for 20 minutes, and honestly, it zipped by. It flew by. Now, I know time is precious at junkets, but I did find, I obviously prepared, and I had a list of questions and things I wanted to bring up. I did find I had to skip a couple of points, which was a shame, but still I was very grateful for the time that we had. Like I said, Ntare was a gentleman and really seems to click with his character. Would you like to hear the conversation? All right, here we go. I should apologise for the audio quality at my end. It's a bit echoey because of the room I recorded in. My fault entirely. I should have foreseen that, but luckily Ntare is clear as a bell, and let's face it, you're tuning in to hear from him, aren't you? I should just say that Patreons, you can see the full video version. I emailed the link out earlier, so check your email. And you can take your pick if you want to keep listening to this and hear the audio, or click the link in the email and watch the video. Okay, here's Ntare.
You're listening to Dissecting Dexter.
Hi Ntare, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's great to meet you too.
Thank you. How are you doing today? I know I'm conscious it's probably a very busy day for you, the press.
It's a very exciting day because Dexter Resurrection is finally getting out into the universe. Tonight's the premiere. I'm talking to you and a bunch of other press about the show. I'm assuming you've seen maybe 4 episodes.
Yes, I have.
So it's a thrill.
I really enjoyed them, and it's great being back in the Dexter world again and meeting new faces and joining back up with familiar faces. It's a great time to be a Dexter fan, as we've had 2 new series of Dexter this year, and it's also my podcast's 15th year anniversary.
Wow.
So it's extra special.
Yeah.
So it's great to be chatting to you. Have you had time to catch your breath?
Yeah, I am thrilled to be on this ride, so I don't feel out of breath at all. It's just a thrill to be here, and as you know, if you've been covering it for 15 years and the show's been 20 years running, there's momentum behind this, and so just to be riding on that momentum, I mean, you can't ask for more than that.
Absolutely. It's both shows this year, we as fans, we never thought would happen. We never expected that. It's all gravy, because we've loved Dexter as a series all these years, and it's as I say, it's a wonderful time to be a Dexter fan, and clearly you're very happy for people to finally be able to see what you've been working on for these last few months.
Yes.
Obviously you're new to the Dexter family, and I'm sure fans will be interested to learn a little bit more about you. So if I may, you've obviously been an actor for a very long time. Are you able to talk a little bit about how you got your start in the performing arts and what your big break was?
Yeah, I went to NYU graduate acting program, and that's the same program that Michael C. Hall went to. So we're both alumni of the grad acting program at NYU, Tisch School of the Arts. And so when we met on set, it felt like we had this shared language together. We'd had the same professors, walked the same halls, done the same exercises. So in a way, we fell right into step when we started working together. My first job out of school was doing the national tour of 6 Degrees of Separation by John Guare. It was a play that was on Broadway, and I did the national tour. My first start out was in theater, and slowly started making my way into film and TV.
Yeah, excellent. I was fascinated to read about your extensive work in Africa. Obviously, that's where your family's roots are, and understandably, you're very proud of that. And you've worked very hard for a long time to document the people there, particularly those impacted by HIV and AIDS. You were clearly moved creatively and produced your solo play, Biro, about an HIV positive man who comes to the US illegally to receive treatment. You must be unbelievably proud of that work.
No, that was the first play that I wrote, and I never would have imagined that it would have resonated the way it did. I premiered it at the National Theatre in Uganda in 2003, I think it was. And from there it went to London. It played off the West End in London, and then came to New York, the Public Theatre in New York. And I ended up touring that show to over a dozen countries over a 4-year period around the globe. And it was based on a true story of a relative of mine who was HIV positive back when there was no treatment, no care. So yeah, that was my first thing that I wrote and performed on my own. So I was grateful that it resonated. And actually, funny enough, I wrote that play at the same time I was working a temp job in LA where I met Scott Reynolds, who was the executive producer on Dexter Resurrection.
Yes.
So we were both working a telemarketing job in LA like 20 plus years ago. And I was writing this play and he was trying to get his foot off the ground writing as well. And funny enough, we're now meeting 20 years later on this.
It's a small world, isn't it?
Very small.
Yeah. I mean, it's really admirable what you did with the play. I remember the AIDS panic back in the 1980s and how it was all over the news for so long, but you just don't hear about it these days.
Yeah.
I assume it's just as much of a problem in Africa as it ever was, or have things improved a little?
No, from back then, there was no treatment or care. You know, when it was first discovered, and there were no treatments. In the play that I wrote, Biro, the characters here in the U.S. Getting experimental drugs. Those experimental drugs have now become mainstays, which have been keeping people alive. So it's now no longer so-called like a death sentence. It's something that you could live with. It's a disease that you can live with, thanks to the advancements in medicine. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've done a lot of photography in Africa. I read that some of your work led to an early connection with Michael C. Hall because it featured on his show, his pre-Dexter show, 6 Feet Under. How did that come about?
Yes, well, you've done your research well. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm also a photographer, and I've done a lot of work. The play that I wrote is based on a true story of a relative of mine from Uganda. I'm from Uganda. Both my parents are from Uganda. And I had some exhibits of my work in LA and in New York. And one of the set dressers, I think, from 6 Feet Under came to an exhibit of mine in LA and wanted to feature some of my work on the show. And so that was the connection. I didn't get on set, but my work got on set.
Yeah, excellent. So I was looking through your various acting credits, and I saw you were in Treme. I still need to see that show. It's a shameful gap in my viewing history because I'm a big fan of David Simon. I love The Wire. Great cast you worked with on that show as well. I really need to circle back and watch that. Was that a good experience working with David?
Oh, I mean, there's these giants in the TV world that everyone would gravitate to work with. I think that's part of what's drawn people into Dexter this year. Clyde Phillips, Scott Reynolds, the showrunners, the co-creators have created this incredible machine, this franchise. And David Simon is the same. It seems like everything he touches brings such insight to the viewers. He really knows how to put his hand on that third rail and give us a window into, society that is often overlooked. And Treme at the point had just been devastated by Katrina, had been overlooked by any sort of government. It felt like many people were feeling like they were betrayed and overlooked. And it made sense for David Simon to sort of bring his lens, and Eric Overmyer, who's also one of the writers and co-creators of the show, gave us a window into New Orleans post-Katrina and to the music, to the food, and how life goes on under the most extreme circumstances. And it was a real thrill to be a part of that show. And also, sorry, I meant to add also another co-collaborator of David Simon is Dennis Lehane, who I got a chance to work with as well. Dennis Lehane worked on The Wire, and I got a great opportunity to work with him on this new Apple TV series, Smoke, which is going to be on the air at the same time as Dexter Resurrection. And I play a character who's couldn't be more polar opposite than the role I play on Dexter Resurrection. So I'm thrilled for Dexter fans to get a glimpse of that as well.
Well, I made it my business to check out the first episode of Smoke earlier today, and saw your character's introduction, and right away the whole vibe is polar opposite. Yeah, as you say, couldn't be further away from Blessing.
Yeah, my character on Smoke could be named Cursed.
Elsewhere in your resume, I'd be doing my parents a disservice if I didn't mention The Lincoln Lawyer. They're both big fans of that show, and that's another one I need to get to because I'm a big Michael Connelly fan.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention that. What normally draws you to the characters that you play? Are there any particular attributes or values that you look for? Obviously, we've just touched on two very different characters.
Yeah, it's really about the people that you're getting to work with. And for me, that's the big draw, because I'll do any type. I mean, if you were to ask me or tell me that the role in Smoke would be something that I would have done that was within my range of possibilities, I would have said, no, I don't think I can pull that character off. So sometimes as an actor, what you think is what you want to do is like within your comfort zone. And I would say Blessing was in my comfort zone. That was a role that I felt comfortable playing. And the role in Smoke was wildly out of my comfort zone, and I didn't know that something that I could pull off. And I could think the same could say for The Shy, when I played that role in The Shy. So it's really about being drawn to things that will, sometimes you're fortunate to be drawn to some things where you feel is within your wheelhouse. And other times it's about being drawn to projects that it's just Dennis Lehane, David Simon, Ted Humphrey, these guys who are giants at what they do, David E. Kelly, and you just want to be in their universe. So I'm thrilled that I've had the chance to be able to play with such great writers.
Excellent. Well, let's bring things up to the present day. Of course, Dexter Resurrection gets its premiere in a few short hours. The first two episodes are airing on Friday to a very eager global audience. And you of course, as we say, star as Blessing Kamara, taxi driver and possible friend for Dexter. How did your involvement in the show come about? Was there a connection there with revisiting the connection with Scott?
Yeah, I think Scott mentioned that when they wrote the part that he had me in mind. So that was a blessing. But I still had to jump through some hoops. I had to audition. So nothing comes, it wasn't just handed to me. I had to earn that role. I had an audition, then I had a callback, and was fortunate to land the part, and now here speaking with you about it. But Scott was, I think, the window in, so I'm really grateful to Scott for it. And also, the casting director, Ross Meyerson, was roommates with my grad school classmate, Boris MacGyver. So Ross Meyerson used to come, when he was just making his way in the industry as well, used to come see our plays at school at NYU. And so I was also in the back of his mind. So you never know what friendships or connections you've made from 20 plus years ago will come back to be a blessing. So that's been the case in this case, in this situation.
Yeah. Were you already familiar with the show? Had you seen it?
I mean, you have to have your head in the sand to not be familiar with the show. I mean, this has been a monster hit. 2 decades strong. It's had multiple iterations. I mean, that's rare for any show to have such a long-lasting impact. So that makes it all the more special to be a part of this show. I don't think I can, if you were to put me to the test and ask me questions, since you've been at this much longer than I have, 15 years with your podcast, I don't know if I'd pass the fandom test, but I'm thrilled to be a part of the show now and be part of this universe.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I've seen the first few episodes, and I must say you were like a breath of fresh air in the show. I really appreciated the levity and the charisma that you bring. I mean, the show is so often quite dark. It's got its roots firmly in the horror genre, although it has its charm and fun sense of humour. Was there anything about Blessing that resonated with you personally?
He's a family man. That for me resonated because, I mean, I love my family and I love breaking bread together with family and having friends over. And so those are things that Blessing loves to do as well, that I think resonated with me. Yeah.
Yeah. The impression we get in the first couple of episodes is that Dexter and Blessing may form a kind of friendship. He seems like a spiritual man, and we've seen Dexter attempt to have friends and explore spirituality before, and it's never really worked out too well. Obviously, I don't want you to give anything away, but it does make me fear for Blessing's safety.
I think anyone in the show, you got to be concerned about their safety for sure, because this is a show where bodies drop. The body count, I don't know, as somebody who's been covering this for 15 years, do you actually know, do you know what the body count is at this point? Have you been tracking that?
No, I don't. No, I should do, shouldn't I?
That would be a good question for the ultimate fans to know, like, because as I can say, there are people whose bodies will drop under Blessing's nose. So we get to see, like, how close. I mean, he's as close to the fire as you can get, and we sort of walk that line this season to see, will he get burned or not? Yeah.
He does seem to be a morally upstanding man, seemingly completely at odds with who Dexter is. So I wonder if we can look forward to some conflict there, perhaps a situation to challenge Blessing's moral compass.
I think the writers are going to surprise you. Because, I mean, you already have some sort of trajectory in mind, but I think the writers I think you will be pleasantly surprised as to what the twists and turns that will come. And I'm not sure that they will be what you expected, actually. Yeah.
I was trying to think of what could be in store for your character. You're part of the Dexter legacy now, and what could cement your place even more than if Blessing were to be revealed as a killer himself. I mean, I can't see it based on what we've seen already. He seems a man so at peace with his world. But I wonder if he could maybe come to Dexter's rescue at some point. But I guess we'll see. It's early days.
No, I think that the writers were really intentional about that because my character is named Blessing. His daughter named is Joy. His wife and mother are Constance and Prudence. And these are all elements that Dexter has not found comfort in, He hasn't felt blessed. He hasn't felt full of joy. He hasn't had sort of constance or been prudent, in terms of, these are all elements that he's sort of butted up against him. And we get to see him have to face those elements and literally live amongst them. And so that, I think, will provide some of the drama because there is a discomfort with proximity because he still needs to do what he needs to do. And the only place he has is Blessing's home, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm conscious of not keeping you for too long. I know you've still got things to do before the premiere tonight. So we'll bring things to a close. But Ntare, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I think Blessing's going to be really popular with Dexter fans. I warmed to him and loved your portrayal right from the moment we met him. Thank you for being part of the Dexter family, and good luck with Smoke, and good luck, of course, with Dexter Resurrection.
Well, thank you for going 15 years strong. That is no simple feat. We have to thank you for, the incredible audience you've built through your podcast, and for celebrating this work, and for tuning in, and from your mouth to God's ears in terms of the show resonating with folks on this new iteration.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. And I wish you well. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Same.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
This is the Dissecting Dexter Podcast.
It doesn't matter what I do. Born in blood. Both of us.
What a nice guy. He had an aura of sort of a quiet peace with the world. It just gave off that sort of vibe. Now, although I do a podcast, like you guys, I am first and foremost a Dexter fan, and I'm so humbled to be able to spend any amount of time with people who are involved in this show that we love, and I'm really happy to be able to share the conversations with you. Okay, I'll leave it there for today. I'm going to get going, and I think I'll make a start on my notes for episode 1. So, are you all ready for a new season of Dexter? It's about to happen, and by all accounts it's going to happen again and again, keep happening. They're in this for the long haul, and so are we. Join me next week and we'll dissect some new Dexter together. Until then, thanks so much for listening, guys. Take care. Bye for now.